Hi, my name is Marie Wendorf, and welcome to the first Witchy Poo Wednesday YouTube video. First of all, I promise, I cross my heart, hope to die, that I will never, ever make a video this long again, but it's an introductory video, so we have to let everybody know what Witchy Poo is all about. And the reason why is because everywhere I go, people want to know, what is Witchy Poo? Why is it called Witchy Poo? How did you come up with the name? Where do you get the stuff? How did you start? Where do you do? Where's your store? What's it like? So there's a lot of questions. This is just going to tell you everything about it. It's also to let you know that we're doing some renovation changes in the store, so this annoying light that's in the background is going to eventually be gone. So you need to like this and share this with a lot of people so I can afford the light fixture for this back room, okay? Alright, so I was born in Manhattan. I was the middle child of 10 kids, and I spent a lot of my time as a kid going through my mother's closets and her jewelry boxes, because when she was a young lady, she was asked to go to all these balls and dances, because that's what they just did back then. And she had 10 kids, and the life that I knew of her was she had an apron on, and she never really wore makeup, and she was too busy running around after everybody to take care of herself. So I found so much joy and pleasure in going through all of her dresses, taffeta and the crinoline, and all of her jewelry. She had great brooches and necklaces, lots of pearls and rhinestones and pins. And any picture of me as a kid, I would be on the swing set with maybe a pearl necklace on or a pin on. I just really loved to glam it up, especially because I went to Catholic school and there was definitely no glamour going on there. So eventually I got a lot of babysitting jobs and spent all my money that I had buying stuff and clothing and accessories. And I went to school and I did a college internship for a great guy named Eddie Parker, who introduced me to the world of accessories and handbags. This was so long ago. This was when the first crossover body bag was it in the early 80s. And I was lucky enough to meet with him, and he introduced me to a wonderful group of people, everybody that I met, because I was so young and so into what I was doing, took me in underneath their wing and taught me the industry. So he introduced me to this wonderful woman named Linda DeRosa. I worked with her. He introduced me to Steve Madden. I worked with him, who introduced me to Bill Raymond. I worked with them. And then eventually, after many years of being in the industry, I ended up at a company by the name of ODY and had the honor of working with Mr. Michael Weiss and Pat Colavecchio and Steve Klein. And we basically came up with the concept of product development. It was back in the day where stores did what they did, and they all sort of looked alike, but they really didn't carry accessories. And it was really neat. I ended up working with a lot of the designers because I felt like Banana Republic should have accessories. They shouldn't just have clothes. So I sort of convinced these people to carry these product lines. So I would ask them, what do they need? What are they doing with their clothing? And it was like the prince, what was that tale? The king with no clothes. So I would have nothing, and they would tell me what they were looking for, and I'd run back to my office in Manhattan, and I'd work with the people, the sample makers, and I would work with overseas, and we would put together a whole collection, and boom, it was really exciting. All of a sudden, these big major retailers were carrying accessories, and I sort of helped create a business that was really non-existent. And then fast forward many boyfriends and relationships later, I ended up getting married and having 3 kids, and continued to work. And after my 3rd baby, I had to take a sabbatical from work because my ex-husband, who was suffering from drug and alcohol abuse, his life was spinning out of control and something had to give. And so I gave up my career to take care of my children. And eventually his life really spun out of control, and I had to figure out a way to take care of my children. So I didn't know what to do. But luckily I was invited to a party where these girls were selling knockoff handbags. And they had 2 tables with black tablecloths. They stood there very seriously, and they had all these brown and black bags and scarves and rings, and everything was like over $100 and something. And I couldn't afford anything because I was on a tight budget, and I left this party like, what were these girls talking about? What were they doing? They did this wrong. I hated everything. I hated the lighting. I hated the collection. I hated the prices. I hated the attitude. And I was just so annoyed. And then a light bulb went off in my head and said, geez, Marie, this is what you should do. This is what you can do. You should go out and start meeting all your suppliers and put together a collection of jewelry and handbags and belts and scarves and clothing at affordable prices in great colors and show people what they can look like. So I have, years and years later, you know, we have the store, and we'll get into that in a second. So what I really wanted to do was, we have this store, I jump around a lot, we have this store and it's filled with a ton of things. It's not necessarily everything that I would necessarily wear. But I think of all the people that come here. I think of Joyce when she comes here, what she's going to wear, what's going to make her feel good. I think about Marcia, what she's going to wear, about Katie, what she's going to wear. None of these women are anything alike. No two women are. And not one item in the store is anything like the next. And so I want people to come into here and find what they like. And when they go out to dinner, they feel good about themselves, feel great about themselves, and have the extra $15 in their pockets so they order a salad and a Diet Coke. And that is the concept of Witchy Poo. I've tried to do the website. I'm not a website person. But if I can do this and every week show you a great product and tell you why it's great and why you should have it, then why not? Why not be able to reach to all the people that want to make it to this little store that can't? And I hope that answers it. Well, a little bit, no, it doesn't actually. So I forgot to tell you about how I came up with the name Witchy Poo. So, we're not going to edit this because this is how I talk. So I decided to come up with this whole idea before I came into a store. And I started selling it out of my car. I started selling it out of my house. Then I lost my house and I had to move into this ridiculous one-bedroom apartment with 3 kids. And then I went downstairs. There was a guy that was renting this garage underneath where I was living, and he told me that he was moving out. And I said, "You're kidding, I'm going to move in." I spoke with the landlord, and with enough money for the deposit to move in to the store, we painted it hot pink, and I had about $200 in my pocket. I spent that on jewelry, and we had to come up with a name. And I could not think of a name at all. And I just knew that when I went through my divorce, I called myself the Witch of West Meadow. And then I was looking for supplies, and I saw a crown like Glenda wore in The Wizard of Oz, and I remembered that I was the good witch in The Wizard of Oz in 8th grade, and I had a standing ovation for my performance. So why not go with Glenda, or why not go with the good witch? And I met with my friend Jackie Fusigna, who was in marketing, and we talked about the packaging of my product, and she said, put a pink ribbon on it and do your whole Witchy Poo thing. And I was like, that's it, that's the name. And that's how we came up with it. So we'll see you next Wednesday, and we're going to show you some great product to get you going on what Witchy Poo is all about. Thanks.